Hello there, my Cancer Collective. I hope you're having a wonderful day. What's up, Cancer? You can ring my bell, ring my bell. Ring-a-ling-a-ling. Oh, Cancer. What's going on, Cancer? I know what's going on with some of y'all. Woo! God protects me and God fights my battles. No weapon formed in spirit or physical against me shall prosper. I'm highly favored and protected from all evil, as is my beautiful Cancer Collective. Cancer, yes. Call on your angels right now. Number 13. Cancer, this is the third time attempting your reading because I did not like the energy that's around. And you don't need to be focusing on any negativity right now. A lot of you are going through it. I shit you not. The two readings that I did, the 3 of Swords, the 8 of Swords, the 9 of Swords, kept coming up. Kept coming up. Okay? And we were saging and focusing. So we stepped back from it, did a little prayer on it. A lot of you, you're going to have to call upon your angels right now. There's... You see that? I'm liking it to being on a merry-go-round. Some of y'all are still, you've gotten off the merry-go-round, but you're still got that dizziness. You got to watch when it comes to making decisions and what your next move's going to be. But some of you are still, you're still a little lightheaded from that merry-go-round you just got off of. Some of y'all could still be on that merry-go-round, okay? You want to know what that feeling is? Stand up and spin around really fast till you get dizzy. Now try making a major life decision on that. Try figuring out what's up, what's down, what's left, what's right. Okay? That's the energy. So you need to be focusing on... it's like ballerinas, dancers that do the spins, ice skaters, and they teach them how to spot. You need to find a spot to focus on to kind of relieve that dizziness or to prevent you from getting dizzy. You know what I mean? Name your higher self. Some of y'all need to take it to Jesus. You need to focus and get that sort of inner healing, that inner help that is needed. You're dizzy. You're dizzy. And it's hard to make that decision. It's hard to make decisions in that sort of energy. I'm serious. Stand up and spin around. So we're going to pull some angel decks. Some angel cards here. You know what you're going through. You know what the energy is. I don't think we need to discuss that. You need to spot on something positive, spot on something, if anything, at least something neutral, like, sort of what you know to be true. Was it Inception that had the little top that the guy would use to let him know if he was in reality or not? Some of y'all, you need to find something to focus on that you know is strong, solid, sturdy, and it's kind of like your guidepost. Some of you, you need to take it to spirit. You're still in that dizzy energy. Some of y'all could still be on that fucking merry-go-round, okay? There is resolution that needs to come into play for you, Cancer, but for whatever reason, it's not. It's not. There's a resolution that's fighting to happen. There's an ending that needs to occur. You need to get off that merry-go-round, or you need to get yourself balanced enough, grounded enough, and not be so emotionally, like spinning. I hesitate saying spiraling, but right now you're just kind of got that dizziness. But it's kind of a fine line between getting grounded, spotting something, and focusing on it that can kind of bring you back to a more grounded sense of space, or you're just going to continue on that. And then, it's just going to, yeah, it ain't going to have a happy resolution. Knight of Wands. The Lovers. This could be that feeling of love. For some of you, this could be in a relationship. Or just a really sort of toxic partnership. You see that volcano going up there in the background, right? These two really aren't on good terms, right? This Knight of Wands energy. This is almost like... okay, clear the throat. Someone either needs to say something, someone wants to say something, but someone isn't. Or that Knight of Wands energy. Something needs to be said, something needs to be done. A resolution has got to take place. It's fighting to happen. It is. It's like, okay, this shit ain't fun anymore, right? This shit ain't fun anymore. Below that, we got the Nine of Cups. For some of you, this could be if you're dealing with a love situation, right? Maybe you got into it and it was that whirlwind of excitement, right? All the chemicals were interacting. Things were great. It was, oh my God, it couldn't get any better than this. And then it's like, oh, you know, you're so delirious in love, right? Oh, John, it was so great. But now it's like, yeah, is it really? Is it really? Once the newness wears off, once you get grounded, well, the spark's gone, right? Because notice these two energies are grounded. Both feet are flat on the ground. And you see the looks on their faces? Like, oh, shit. Oh, shit. What started out as wish fulfillment? The High Priestess. The King of Wands. The Hermit. That hermiting stage is you're either still on that merry-go-round spinning, or you've been thrown off and now you're just trying to stand up, but you really can't. You're stumbling a little bit. Something's got to come to an end. The reality's got to sit in. Something is just, you know, the newness is wore off. Some of you that dizzy and that, you know, that falling madly in love, but you fall out of it just as quick. Sometimes the newness of it just makes it seem more exciting, right? When you're just spinning and you're happy, think of them beautiful romantic movies. Oh my gosh, it's great. And then the reality sets in. King of Wands up here with the Seven of Pentacles. So how long has this whirlwind been going on? The Magician. Someone knows things have got to change up here, Cancer. The newness is worn off, right? This is when, okay. We're not making love anymore. Right? The newness is gone. You know, you're like a kid with a new toy and it's all fun and great and you play with it, and then 2 or 3 days later it's just gathering dust in the corner. Right? It lost its appeal. But, you know, maybe it was an expensive toy. So now everyone's like, well, why aren't you playing with that toy? Why aren't you playing with that toy? And you're like, I don't know. I don't know. The Hermit energy with the Ten of Pentacles. Yeah, everyone's like, well, why aren't you playing with that toy anymore? What's up with that? Ten of Pentacles with the Three of Wands. Yeah, a lot of people are like, what? Why aren't you playing with that? What's going on? Cancers, for some of you, I think y'all got caught up into something and it seemed all fucking great, and then the newness wore off and now you're like, oh fuck. Yeah, have you ever bought something a little expensive and you think, oh my God, I have to have this, right? You see it in the store and you're like, oh my God, I have to have it. And then once you get it home, you like never use it. It's an outfit that you never wear. It's, ladies, maybe it's a purse that you thought you had to have, and then you get home and realizes it clashes with everything that you own. Or, you know, okay, well, it's cute, but you never use it. Maybe it's a cute pair of shoes that you got, and then, you know, when you wore them for the first time, they hurt your fucking feet, so you're like, well, they're just going to go to the back of the closet. This is when the newness wears off. But for a lot of you, it was a major investment. Family could have been in on it, right? Family could have been like, well, you guys were so great. It was so great. What's going on? What's going on, right? High Priestess energy here with the Star card. And the World card. And the Eight of Swords. Kind of getting caught up in that fairy tale. Sweet Jesus, Cancer. The newness is worn off. I mean, something has to end. You either have to, I don't know, return it, give it to somebody. You're going to have to make use of something here. Right? You're going to have to figure out what the hell you can do. For some of you, if you bought something that's a little expensive, maybe you're going to hawk it because you have to pay your fucking rent or some shit. You're realizing you're learning. A lot of you are going to learn how to take it's like take the lessons. Take the lessons. I do feel love energy here because it's sort of that dizzying effect where you can get all caught up and it's all great. And then, you know, eventually the newness wears off. It's not so great anymore. Nine of Cups here with the Three of Cups. Three of Cups with the Six of Cups. This is when fantasy is far better than the reality. Have you all ever been with somebody that, oh my God, you thought it would be so great? Oh my goodness. They would probably be the best lay. You're just so caught up in them. Or it's like whatever the hell you thought you absolutely needed to have. Oh my gosh, if I'm here, I'm going to be happy. Oh my gosh, if I had this in my life, it would be so different. Oh my God, if I could, if it was a sexual attraction. And, oh my God, if I could sleep with them. And then once you get there and you're like, once you have it, I mean, you're like, oh, okay. It kind of loses its appeal. I know a lot of you have been there. We've all fucking been there, right? The dream of it, the idea of it is far more freaking greater than the reality, right? Because the reality is, oh, they don't hold up to your expectations. What's that they say? Don't meet your idols because you might be disappointed. It's kind of in that energy. If someone thought, something looked so fucking great and so fucking wonderful, and then at the end of the day, once they got it, they're like, oh shit. It's more of a burden now than what it is a positive. It's more of a shit. The picture looked better than the movie, right? The poster looked better than the movie. The image looked better than the reality. But there is a resolution that's wanting to happen. There's a resolution that needs to happen. This is when you're like, well, you know what? Fuck. For some of you, you're going to hawk the fucking expensive item that you bought. You're going to get rid of it. You're like, well, you know what? Okay, I needed it, but, I fucking blew all my money on it. Now I don't even use it. So you might have to be getting rid of something, selling it at a loss. Because you realize it's not really what you want. King of Wands energy. There is decision making. There's decisions that need to be made. If it's dealing with love, it's realizing, okay, the brochure was better than the fucking reality of it. Over the lovers, we got the Two of Pentacles. Yeah. We're not making love anymore. It's not fun. The playfulness is gone. That newness is gone. It's like when you get something new and you're all excited about it, and then the newness wears off, and then it just sits on a table or sits somewhere gathering dust. Knight of Wands with the Knave of Cups. For some of you, now there's a new person that you'd like to go towards. There's a new energy. Sometimes you have to, live the fairy tale, try the fairy tale on, and see the reality of it. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? You see something, you want it, you go for it. But, once you get it, you're like, well, okay. Partnerships can be that way. Lovers can be that way. Relationships can be that way. cars, items that you buy, right? You think you have to have it, and then, you know, once you get it, you're like, well, you don't use it as much as you thought you would. A lot of you're going to find it just sits on a shelf somewhere, sits in the corner gathering dust, as much as you thought you absolutely had to have it. And Cancers, I can tell you, because I actually thought I was going to buy me a snow blower this year. I had myself all riled up to do it, but I never did, because I was like, do you really need it? You know, you got two fucking snow shovels, and it ain't that much work. We really don't get a whole lot of snow, not like we used to here in Indiana. Like, you could shovel it once and maintain it. Do you really need to go drop a bunch of money on it? So I'm actually glad I didn't, because that would be something that, you know, probably in a year's time, maybe get 2 or 3 days total. If you based it on hours, probably not even a whole day's worth of use, right? It'd just be sitting in the fucking garage gathering dust most of the time. And that shit ain't cheap, not a good one. So this is, you got into something, you bought something, you thought it was going to be something more, and it wasn't. But it's like, are you going to return it, or are you just going to keep it? Are you going to stay in that energy, or are you going to move on? For some of you, it was just a lesson. You know, there's nothing wrong with trying on different people. There's nothing wrong with dating different types of people. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you want to kick the tires. Sometimes you want to, you know, try on the fantasy. But then once you get it and you realize that, okay, you know, your idea of that, the dream of that, the fantasy that you had built up around this person, place, thing, item, whatever the fuck it is, really, the fantasy was far better than the reality. Because as is normally the case, when you're in a relationship with somebody, that's usually when somebody else or other people want to come toward you. I think we've all been in that energy. You could have a dry spell, but as soon as you meet somebody and start spending time with somebody, you have motherfuckers galore coming out of the damn woodwork at you, right? And we know now that's because someone figures, well, if they're dating them, then they must be worth dating, right? Kind of counterintuitive. All these wonderful single people out there, but, you know. Cancers, I love this energy, but there needs to be a resolution. The Hierophant. I don't want you to harp on the negative, because a lot of you, you're still in that sort of dizzying space. The reality is setting in. You bought something a little too expensive, thinking that you need it. You bought into an idea. You bought into a fairy tale. But the reality of it is nothing like what you thought. For some of you, this could be pressure from your family, right? That Three of Wands energy. It is sort of that conflict. There you got the devil's trying to push someone forward, and here the angel's trying to say, no, 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 no. This is when, you know what you need to do, but there's still that sort of the hold back energy. You bought the fancy outfit, you bought the fancy shoes, but at the end of the day, you don't wear them because they hurt like hell. They're just pretty to look at. Some of y'all get it and you don't want to wear it because you're like, I spent too much money on that. You know, you just want to keep them pristine. You want to keep them new. It's like just a disillusionment when sometimes the fantasy is far better than the reality. And it's kind of hard to admit that, especially if you put a lot of time and money and energy into it, right? You fought for this. This is what you wanted. This was going to be your happily ever after. But once you get it, you're like, holy shit. It was more of a burden than it was good. This is like, do you really need that new vehicle, or can you make your old one last? Because once you get it, right, maybe it starts acting up. So then it's just like a money pit. Or maybe once you get it, you're like, well, I can't drive this shit in this weather. Or, you know, I'm afraid to go to this part of town. Or I'm afraid to park it on the street because if you get a scratch or something, right, it's going to cost you a fortune to fix. So Cancers, if this reading resonates for you, it's kind of like a life lesson energy. And it's something we all do. Okay, it is something we all do. The fantasy of it, right? You build it up so great in your head, thinking that it's going to be so fucking great. But then once you own it, once you have it in your hands, once you're in it, right? You're like, fuck. This isn't what I thought it was going to be. Or you realize, you know, what you own owns you, right? And then you're like, well, fuck. You make a major purchase, kind of spur of the moment, and then next thing you know, you're stuck with the payment for the next 5-8 years. And you're like, fuck. Okay, it's nice, but did I really need it? Or was it just sort of that buildup of thinking that you do? This is as you get older, you realize that, you know, you get that idea and you really think about it. But then the more you think about it, you're like, but do I really? Do I really? What would really be more important, right? That was me with the snowblower. I was like, do you really need to spend money on that? What you really need is to get your fucking table saw back. Maybe buy a bandsaw. I want a pneumatic wrench. So many other things that were far cheaper that I would actually really be able to use. Things that, you know, would be usable all year round. For some of you, it is a new love opportunity. It's like you get the fantasy, what you think you want, but the reality doesn't live up to that fantasy, right? Sometimes it's better off to just have that fantasy, that sort of go-to, to base something real on. Because eventually you'll find that thing that kind of matches the energy of that fantasy. You know, it's very important not to get caught up in, you know, the idea of certain people or certain things. Because, you know, once you get it, once you get there, it doesn't live up to the hype. Have you ever been somewhere, maybe a restaurant that everyone hypes up, and then when you go there, you're like, well, okay, it's okay. It's not all that fucking grand. Or maybe a destination vacation, right? Everyone, oh, you need to go here, you need to go here. And then you go there and you're like, well, fuck. This ain't all that great. This is when reality sets in and the fantasy doesn't live up to it. So there's decision. There's decision. A lot of you, a lot of time, money, and investment. Some of you, you know, if you bought something that you can't return, there you go. Now you're stuck with it for a while. And Cancers, I don't want you to make any major life choices or decisions right now if you're feeling that. If you're trying to figure out a quick escape plan, you're trying to figure out how to get out of something, some of you are going to have to wait till you get focused and you get grounded and you're able to make a smart decision as to what you're going to do. Because this is currently the energy. This King of Wands, this Seven of Pentacles, and this Magician card. Okay, you bought it. So some of you are going to have to figure out how to take the situation and sort of smelt it down into something that is actually usable for you, okay? And you're going to learn. This is, a lot of you are learning. Okay, you fucked up. So now you made a mistake. Now you got to figure out how you're going to at least make it work to your benefit, okay? King of Wands energy. You know what you need to do. Some of you, it's like... you're getting drawn to make that decision. You're getting drawn to do what you need to do. It's like there's an opportunity to turn it around. You always got to be able to flip that script, okay? Maybe for some of you, you're going to have to take a little bit of a loss on it. It's kind of like you're getting that nudge, you're getting that feeling, you're getting that drive to do it. But it, for some of you, it's like friends, family, and everyone else, right? Your parents buy you that toy that you wanted, and then, once you get it and you stop playing with it, and they're like, well, why the hell ain't you playing with that toy? We spent so much money on that. Oh, you just had to have that bike, and then your ass ain't even riding it, right? And we're all guilty of this, Cancer. So don't beat yourself up for what you did. You did what you did, so now, here's the reality. You got to sit down and figure out if there's a way you can get out of it. Sell it for a loss. Some of you just take whatever you can get it out of your way. If you need the money, you need the opportunity. The bottom of the deck here, the Tower moment. Something a decision needs to be made. Movement needs to happen. I think you've been stuck in this energy a little too long. Reality is there. Something's got to happen. You might not know what the fuck needs to happen. Be careful what you own, because what you own owns you. So some of you could be feeling stuck, but there's always a resolution. You just might not be seeing it, especially if you're not in that right energy mindset to see it. This is life lesson energy. Okay, we've all bit off more than we can chew. We all got, caught up in the hype and spent money or got into a situation thinking it was going to be something that it wasn't. We've all hooked up with somebody and tried to create a relationship with someone that we thought was going to be it, right? They fit that image. You like the idea of it. But once you got into it, you're like, oh, shit. The packaging made it look really good, right? The advertisement made it look really good. The hype was there to really get you to kind of go for it. And that's anything in your life, right? If everyone says, oh, you need to go visit this place on vacation, you're going to love it. Then you go there, right? And you're like, well, fuck, this ain't all that great. I prefer the old place I used to go to, or I'd have rather went to this place. It's the brochure looked good. Everything looked good. You kind of fell for it, and now you're stuck. With the Hermit, the Ten of Pentacles, and that Three of Wands, some of y'all, you're going to have a hard time facing your family with the decision. Some of you, this could be family pressure. However, it, factors into what you got going on. The Tower followed by the Sun and the Ace of Swords. See, that's why I didn't want to hone in on the negative energies, Cancer, because I think you know that. You need to realize this is sort of cleanup time. Things need to come to a resolution. Focusing on the problem. You know what the problem is, right? You're like, oh, I know I fucked up. But, what do I do here? Tower, the Sun, the Ace of Swords. Something needs to come to a conclusion. Decisions need to be made. We got the Tower card here. But notice this Tower card. He's like fighting off all that negative energy around, which Cancers, I'm going to tell you, if anything right now, you need to be praying, saging, and focusing on being happy. Even if you're really stuck. You're really stuck and you're really concerned. Some of y'all are worried. You're still a little kind of dizzy as to what you need to do. That's that Eight of Cups energy right there, right? The solution is still not quite aware to you yet. You need to walk away from something. You need to do something. You're not quite sure yet what to do. And that's good. And if you're not quite sure what to do, just hang in there a little longer till you get the clarity that you need. Some of y'all are still, you're still a little dizzy from the whirlwind experience, whatever the hell it was, right? That euphoria from your situation. So just hang in there. You don't want to make any decisions if you're still a little emotionally unsure of what you need to do. You're going to get guided. You're going to get the solution. And there's going to be a happy resolution, okay? That Tower card brings in the endings that need to happen, the resolutions that need to happen. And, the sun coming in, enlightenment. You got a great learning opportunity here, because I can guarantee you, Cancer, you're not going to do the same thing again. Whatever the hell it is, for some of you, if it was love, for some of you, if it was a major purchase that you got yourself into, for some of you, maybe a job that you got contractually kind of caught up in, and, you know, you're kind of stuck. It seems so good until you took the position, and then you're like, motherfucker. So Cancers, I want you to realize that wherever you're at right now, make your decisions from a space that you feel comfortable with. Okay, I feel there is a major decision to be made. And for some of you, it could definitely have some ramifications, right? Some major, for a lot of you, feedback, maybe from your parents, maybe from work. I think there's more people involved in this than just you. So it was like a major situation. So take whatever time you need. Focus on getting yourself grounded. Don't focus so much on the problem, because then you're not going to see the resolution, Cancer. You're just focusing on the problem. Okay? It is what it is, but you got to decide how you're going to solve it. For some of you, if you can sell it, take a little bit of a loss, you can do that. You got to figure out what is the right decision for you to make. Okay? That tower is going to come, and you're going to be able, Spirit's going to give you that sword to actually cut through what you need to cut through. But you got to focus on positive. You got to focus on calling in the help that you need to give you the clarity that you need. You know, you can make a mistake, but there's ways you can turn that around to your benefit. It's always going to be a lesson. You're always going to pay attention. For some of you, if it's overspending, you're going to think thrice before you go out and buy something, right? You're going to think about it. And you're going to think about it some more. Then you're realistically going to think about it. Well, if I got this, how much would I really use it? Is this something that I would really actually get some use out of? Or is it going to sit most of the time and just gather dust? What is really worth it and what isn't? For some of you, you did that, you know, you thought something, the fantasy of it, the idea of it was very enticing, right? You had a whole nother idea in mind when you got into it. But when the reality set in, you're like, fucking A, this is not. The fantasy was far better than the reality. But we've all been there, done that. So don't beat yourself up. I want to hone that in, because you know what? It's done. What's done is done. Now you just got to figure out the best solution that works for you, the best way to resolve it. And you got to do that in a healed space. So you got to figure out how to heal from this. If you fucked up, you fucked up. Okay, chalk it up to experience and quit beating yourself up over that. Now it's sort of cleanup time. You got to figure out how you can flip it and make it work for you. Okay? And you can. There's a resolution here. Spirit's going to give you that resolution once you make the decision to actually do the healing and understand and quit blaming yourself, quit getting all worked up and staying stuck in that sort of stagnant negative energy, because that's just going to keep you stuck. You're gonna get the knowledge that you need. You're going to get the insight that you need to turn it around to your benefit. Because, I mean, hell, at the end of the day, you could always just sell it and take whatever you get off of it and take the rest as a loss, and you fucking learned your lesson, right? Lesson learned, you ain't going to do that again. Sometimes you got to take the hit in order to really hone in the lesson. Some of y'all, maybe you took and moved. And, you know, you moved your family to a new location, or you moved your family to a new situation, and now you're like, fuck, ain't nobody happy. Everyone's like, oh, no, you're going to love it here. And then once you get there, you know, and not what you thought. It's not as, it's not the solution it promised to be. What song is that from? Oh, Evita. And as for fortune, and as for fame, I never invited them in, though it seemed to the world they were all I desire. They are illusions, they are not the solutions they promise to be. The answer was here all the time. I love you and hope you love me. Oh, I love that. Evita? But it's kind of that whirlwind experience, right? I love this, Cancers. I do. I know this video got long, but it's like the message needed to come out. Don't make any decisions if you're still confused as to which direction you need to go. Kind of hang in there. You're going to get the guidance. Take it to God. Pray on it. Really look, some of y'all maybe talk to somebody that could give you some advice as to what the hell to do. Some of y'all just going to, if you can, turn it into an opportunity that'll work for you. And, you know, turn it into something else. You can smelt that shit down and turn it into something else. You can figure out a way to flip the opportunity. There's going to be a loss. You're going to, if you're lucky, you're going to be able to turn a profit on this. But some of y'all, it's just going to be a loss. You're just going to have to, take the hit and know you're never going to do that shit again. It's a lesson to wise up. Don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. This was some whirlwind love situation. You know, we've all fell for the fantasy, and then once you get the fantasy, you realize that the fantasy was better than the reality. If you ain't been there, done that, then, you know, that's a lesson you'll eventually figure out. I like this, but I don't want you in a negative space, Cancers. If anything, I want you to just sit down, stand still for a while. You need to focus on something that you know is steady and strong and stable. That's kind of your spot, right? That's what's going to be your spot. So if you're still spinning, right, try to focus on one thing to kind of center yourself and not feel that sort of whirlwind type energy, okay? If you find that focus, it's going to keep you from maybe spiraling down into something far more worse than what you're in, right? We want to get you to focus on something to help kind of get you grounded and centered so you can see the reality and maybe see how you can get the resolution, okay? Because there is a resolution. It might be a loss. You might have to just take the loss and just, oh well, right? Shrug it off and move forward. And that's going to take however much time it takes, okay, Cancer? So don't try to put yourself on a timeline. Don't try to force it. You're going to know when it's time to do what you need to do. It's cleanup time when you're ready to do the cleanup. It's smelting time when you're ready to turn it into something else that could actually be beneficial. Or you're just going to take the fucking loss. Get what you can out of it and move the fuck on. Chalk it up to experience. You ain't never going to do that shit again. I like that, Cancers. I don't want you to worry, though, okay? Find that spot so you can focus. Focus on something that you know is stable and steady and that you know to be true, right? It's real. You can do it. And then let everything else just kind of calm down around you. You got to let your energies kind of focus so you can focus. Because with this Magician card, you're still learning. You're still learning. Take it to God. Whatever deity you choose to worship, understand it's okay. It's okay if you don't quite know what to do yet. But once you learn what to do, yeah, that's a lesson you're not going to forget, Cancer. It's a lesson you're not going to forget. Okay? If it's your emotions you're worried about, then you got to figure out how to get your emotions under control, how to just focus on what you know to be true and go from there. Especially if you got a lot of outer interference. You don't need to worry about that shit now. You got to get your shit together first in order to move forward. There is a happy resolution. It's going to come eventually when you can get in that mind space to allow it. Because, you know, the Eight of Swords, this person isn't stuck. Okay, this is just when you're stuck in that thought of feeling like you're stuck. This is that sort of mind trip energy that when you make yourself, this is when you beat yourself up. Okay, you made a mistake, you fucked up, and now you're just wallowing in it. It's like, nah, well, there's a resolution. You know, the resolution isn't always pretty. It is what the fuck it is, but there's a resolution. She could walk away from that any point in time. You just got to figure out how you're going to smelt it into something and make it a positive, right? If it's a business decision, okay, maybe you can sell your stock or figure out a way to rebrand something to recoup your losses. If it's property, I don't know, maybe you can figure out a way to subcontract out if it's not where you want to be. How long is the lease? How long have you signed the contract? You know, maybe you can figure out a way to spin it and use it to your advantage. Some of y'all, the answers could come by getting some advice, some paid advice. Someone who can help you kind of clean up the mess, help you figure out what you need to do. It's going to come in many different ways, shapes, or forms. Some of y'all haven't seen it yet. Some of y'all are going to figure that out, okay? This is almost make no moves right now until you're 100% sure that that's what you want to do. You got to get grounded first. You got to get your damn emotions under control. You got to get out of this kicking yourself in the ass for fucking up. Okay, you got to get out of that energy because that is not going to be good for you, Cancer. Chuck it in the fucking bucket. Figure out how you can clean up the mess. You might have to take a loss. The more you lose, the more you're going to realize you ain't never doing that shit again. Okay? So peace, love, and light, Cancers. I send you peace, love, and light. A lot of you I know are going through it, okay? We don't need to discuss that. You need to figure out how to kind of get yourself centered and grounded and realize there's a solution. You just got to figure out what it is, but you gotta kind of get everything under control first. Some of y'all, focus on something that is going to help get you more grounded, especially if you're like all over the place. You focus on something that you know is real and tangible, and that can kind of pull you back down into reality. So you're not an emotional mess. You're not, you know, just kind of scattered. Focus on something. Find your spot. You can ring my bell. Ring my bell. Ring-a-ling-a-ling. Oh, Cancer, 43 minutes on this video. I think you all earned it, though, okay? So, pray. I did a lot of praying for y'all. I know some of y'all are going through it. There's a solution. You're going to figure it out. You're going to figure it out, but, you know, you got to get in the mindset to do that first. Peace, love, and light.